Hey, I'm Amiray and it's nice to meet you. Today I just want to chat a little bit about healing and ambition and how life's changes can affect one person. So if you don't know me, I've been on a healing journey pretty much for like over 7 years now, but I would say I'm inconsistently pretty much my whole life. So I grew up with a little bit of a traumatic background, and that affected me in various different ways. And I opted to go for alcohol or addictions related things that I kind of like attached to escape my emotional life and my mind. So I've been looking for sources of healing or ways to feel better in my own body, in my mind, and my skin for like my entire life. But it was only when I got sober and stopped drinking when I was 29, so 7 years ago, that my life really started to change. So you can imagine like being on a healing journey for 7 years, you can keep subtracting things that feel like it's causing you harm. Sorry, if I would get out of breath, I am pregnant. So just mind if I take it slow. But basically, like, you can imagine as you are going on your journey and like healing and whatever causes you the most amount of pain, you're going to try and get rid of, right? So at the beginning for me, the thing in my life that was causing me the most amount of pain was like alcohol. So I had to stop drinking to try and figure out how can I get a hold of my life and like sort my shit out. After that, it was like eating disorders. So like, first it was like smoking. So I'd been smoking my whole life for like 17 years and I could not stop. I tried like 4 times and it was just getting completely out of hand, especially when I quit drinking. Then you start to like crave chocolate and cigarettes and whatever just to like try and help you to feel better. And so I was really smoking up a storm. And so while I was trying to get that on the mend, my eating disorder also flared up. So I got PCOS, which was like everything related to my hormones, and everything that was stagnant at the time really just came to light, and my body was like, okay, yay, you're ready to look at all these things, let's attack them. So it wasn't a great time, but in that I then started like swinging from like anorexia to bulimia, swinging from anorexia to binging quite a lot. And it would go anywhere from like 15 kilograms that I would pick up and lose at various different times, depending on how stressed I was or depending on where I was in my mind. So that was like causing me a lot of harm, because obviously you can imagine like 15 kilograms and I was like quite broke at that time. So like changing your wardrobe every time to fit your body that's changing is quite rough. And then especially when you're broke, like you don't really have money to try and then eat healthy and go to the gym and have healthy habits. So that was really challenging for me. But then after that, one thing at a time, little bit by little bit, these things started healing and I started getting much better. But that's not why I'm in the call today, obviously, or on this call. That's not why I'm talking to you today. I'm feeling called to talk to you today because I have been going through this transition, obviously with my pregnancy, but then also relating to my ambition. And I feel like I've come to a place in my healing journey where it's been 7 years where I've consistently, daily worked on myself. Now, if you're somebody who's like done a course or done a training or worked with a coach or done some therapy, you understand how intense these transitions and transformations of self can be. Now, if you know anything about astrology, I have like Chiron and Jupiter in my 12th house placed like for life. So like Jupiter is all about expansion, Chiron is about your wounds and what you're here to transform, and like being in the 12th house is all about like the unseen and the spiritual world that's deep and like really intense. And so like I definitely came into this life with a mission to heal my wounds. And I also have a stellium in the 8th house, and the 8th and the 12th is very similar, but the 8th is all about transformations and rebirth and mystery, but like all the deep dark stuff that needs to be unearthed basically. So there's a lot of connections to other parts of my chart, but basically just to get an understanding that my life has been a series of massive rebirths all the time. I just keep dying and dying a death of self all the time. And it's been wonderful, but I really know how to navigate transition, and I've really learned how to be comfortable in the uncertainty of who I am and who I'm becoming, and changing that understanding of like where you're going from a teen to an adult, like adolescence or preteen, or like hormones, or you're going from a girl to a woman, like womanhood, or like now for me going into like matrescence, which is like going into motherhood, and this transformation that my body's undergoing, body, mind, soul is undergoing. It's something that I'm realizing is also hand in hand going with other healing that I was doing last year. And one thing that came up, obviously Jupiter transcending through the 12th house of like everyone, like, well, my 12th house, but Jupiter doing its, guys, in Cancer. It was going around, okay? So that amplified my 4th house, which is all about family, nurturing, wounds, mother wounds, where I feel, needing to take care of and all these types of things. So it's been a massive year for me. From last year, June-ish, I had to make a decision for myself, where I've always been like the black sheep in my family, which is obviously a surprise, because I don't have time for like anything that's non-authentic. Anything that feels fake or superficial or that's not true, I pick up like this. Like I can smell inauthenticity from a mile away. And it's really hard for me to stay quiet about things like that when it feels untrue to who the person is and how they are acting. And I struggle not to call it out. So I call it out, especially when I feel hard done by or it's affecting my life directly. So as a result of that, I'm 36 years old. So obviously it came to a point last year where I was 35 and I just had enough, and I had to like make a decision to say I matter more in this moment, because I've been trying to fight for me, and I've been trying to get clarity on things of my childhood or like even my adulthood, even daily things that are still happening with family that I'm trying to resolve, and no one is meeting me. No one is wanting to repair. No one is wanting to have these conversations. No one's willing to go there with me to mend and heal and take mutual accountability for what happened to resolve the issue. And so that was really hard for me, because so I came to a realization that I had to make a decision, right? So I decided to go no contact with my parents, and it was just one parent on one side. My parents are divorced, and it affected multiple, you can imagine, like relationships in that. But never mind that. The whole point that I'm mentioning it, we are talking now and everything is fine, and we're trying to resolve and repair. So there is a silver lining after all this time, right? It took about 8 months for me to come to a place where I can try again and forgive. And I did, because I did a amazing training called Vipassana. If anyone has looked that up, it's a 10-day silent and meditation retreat. You meditate for like 11 hours a day. And it really changed me, like deeply. So I came to a massive transition, or like awakening moment, where I found forgiveness, and somehow my family was affected by that change as well, which is beautiful. But never mind that, what I did realize was there was a lot of underlying things that came up for me during that time. So obviously when I stopped talking to them, there were some integral parts of how I was acting and showing up in the world that I wasn't aware of. So I am an entrepreneur, I'm super ambitious, I ran my own business, and I was building a community of women to empower themselves, right? And all about healing and transforming and like empowerment. And so when this happened, that passion didn't die, but it slowly started simmering down. And I was very confused, and especially after obviously trying to force continuing when my heart was literally breaking at this point, I had to take a step back and stop, because business was not functioning, because I was not functioning. Like, it was a really difficult time for me, probably one of the worst in my life. And, excuse me. And so in November, last year, I decided to take a pause. And the most beautiful thing happened. Obviously, I had to show up on Instagram for my business and perform in a way. I guess it's like you post things and you market yourself and you have to do sales and lead generation and all this type of thing. And I just stopped. I couldn't be on social media anymore. I just had to take a break for me, just to realize what is happening and to go away from social media, because there's so much fear-based things and the eldest child, and there's so much trauma-informed counseling, whatever, on the internet. And I just needed to sit with it, sit with what is happening. And what transformed was the fact that I noticed that I was trying to prove myself to the world a lot still, where I was trying to prove that I'm worthy of existing, prove that I'm worthy of having a place in the world, prove and perform to show that look at what I've done, look at what I've achieved. And here I thought that it was always so, it was always just so clean, so pure, and that I really wanted to serve. But underneath it all, I did want to have something to show for all the pain, you know what I mean? So it came as quite a realization and a shock when my ambition, because my ambition was so fueled by that proving myself, that my ambition died, completely died. And I've heard about this now, from my therapist, that this is such a normal thing to happen to women or to men in the world when you come to a place in your healing journey where all desire and longing for things kind of changes and it kind of stops. And I don't know what that means for me, but basically I went into a preconception journey, right? So for me, I decided, motherhood has been something I've been putting off for many years because of my business, because I'm so ambitious, because of all these things. Being 36 now and pregnant, it's something that we waited really long for. And now I see that everything was just preparing me to be a better mom, because when I'm not proving myself or performing or trying to win my parents' approval, because all of that performance was really driven by winning my parents' approval and being the good girl and trying to be understood and trying to finally find a place for myself and finding a place of belonging. And because my wounds of abandonment and not fitting in and being so different and feeling so different was so big that it just ruled my life, where now I could just be me, and I learned how to sit with who I am and to have that be enough. And of course it's uncomfortable, and of course it was a shock, because I had to reduce my connection to Instagram, which obviously gave me a lot of validation and externally from telling me that I'm good enough. Because when you get likes and comments and people are supporting you and everyone's reaching out and wanting to work with you, you get a boost of serotonin and dopamine and you feel damn good about yourself. When you stop posting and you don't get that anymore, where does that have to come from? It has to come from within, right? So I was doing a lot of the yoga practices that we do is 40-day sadhana. So you do the same practice every day for 40 days. And I did this one called Samana Vayu, which was for balancing and harmonizing and just harmonizing everything. And it's crazy because what comes up is everything that's not in harmony in your life. So I had so many things pop up during meditation that just felt really hard to deal with. But after the 40 days, I was able to process it much easier. And now, that was December, now I've taken a bit of a pause because of pregnancy and hormones and life just taking a bit of a hold. And there's no excuse for not doing your practice and all of that, but I think you have to learn to transition and adapt to where you're at, and learning to have grace and compassion for myself for where I'm at every single moment has been incredibly loving to myself. And finding this self-love practice has been so vital, especially as now I'm going in through this transition and my body's changing and I'm going through a full body, mind, spiritual transformation journey. And I just wanted to mention that because I think there's not a lot of spaces in the stratosphere or the internet where you can really find information like this. But my ambition has not for the most part really come back, but it's shifted. So my ambition was completely squashed. I had no desire, because thankfully, like, I'm very blessed to have a beautiful man that takes care of us and allowed me to go on this healing journey to figure out how I'm gonna do this, right? And he's super supportive. So I was really held in that way, which I think if you're a spiritual girly, like, you need a man that is a protector, because it is so important for us. But it's just been so great to find my way back to myself again. And now my ambition is not, I want to prove to the world that I can make a difference, or I can have this massive impact in the world and this is who I am and all these things. Now instead, it's something about, what can I bring to the table with my family? How can I support and be of service to my family? What can I do to bring in some money? And instead of making my whole job, my whole identity, how can I serve my family without getting lost in it and being having my worth so tied to what it is that I do, and to have that bring in monetary value when that is so tied to my existence, my self-worth. So it's been really great to see now that I'm on a different course and a different path. And it's something that I obviously had to do within my business, but I'm gonna try something else out. And whatever that is for you, take your astrology and put it into ChatGPT and just ask it what it is that you're meant to do. Because when you're confused like me and you have all these different things that you're passionate about and you're multi-dimensional, multi-passionate, it's so cool to have this tool as astrology, especially because that's just like who you are. But to have a tool like ChatGPT that can interpret these things for you, if you get a coach, obviously it's better, but it just helps you a little bit, and you can prompt it with a few different things like your 10th house and what am I good at, what am I naturally gifted, what's my natural gifts and things. And you can find out where you could be aligned. But I just wanted to chat a little bit about that, because I don't know if you feel the same, if you've been going through this massive process of pivoting and how that feels for you, because uncertainty can be so challenging for most of us to sit in, and especially when you're going through like a period in your life, like maybe you're 25 or so, there's like a quarter life crisis, midlife crisis, and other periods where you're just going through a transformation, and even leaving a job and committing to something else, changing your career is like massive. So all I wanted to say is that if you need a space, I hope this can be a space where you can learn and chat and feel like a safe space for you to share about these types of things. But if this is you, this is all I want, is just for it to reach you and say you're not alone, and there's other women in the world that feel like you and have gone through something like this. And it's my aim to just bring awareness and talk about these things that feel maybe really hard. And people might not have words to put in, like words to put to what this is even, but to know that you're not alone, and that, yeah, you can reach me on YouTube and just reach me on Instagram. And yeah, I hope this was of some sort of interest to you. And chat